Welcome to Law Excellence Hindu News Analysis. Today we are going to cover these 5 topics that are appeared in the Hindu newspaper. Right? Now coming to the first article. Now this article is saying that give environmental clearances to Khalsa Nalsa Banduri Meghdadu projects DK Shivkumar to central government. Now the context of the news is that Khalsa Banduri is the project on the Mahadayi river to divert the water to the Malaprabha river for the drinking water needs of the some of the districts in Karnataka. Now this is what the context of the news. But this project does not cleared by the National Board for Wildlife. Why it is saying that it has certain issues, especially legal disputes between the Goa, Karnataka, and Maharashtra about the Mahadayi river water distribution. Now this is the context of the news. Now why it applied for National Board for Wildlife? Because there is a provision in the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 to divert any water resources within the forest region, especially any wildlife sanctuaries or national parks. You have to take the permission from the National Board for Wildlife. Okay. Now this is what the context of the news. Now Karnataka government rejected this decision and said that Supreme Court does not restrain the Karnataka from proceeding with the project. Now this is what they said. Now from the examination perspective, there are certain things that are very important from the prelims perspective. Now if you see previous year questions of the prelims, it was asked that the rivers that were there in the news. Now previously it was asked that which of the following given pairs are correctly matched. Pandarpur and Chandrabhaga. Now yes, this is correct because Pandarpur is a pilgrimage town in Maharashtra. This is true. Tiruchirappalli, Kaveri. Yes, Tiruchirappalli is a city that is on the banks of the river Kaveri. Now Hampi is not on the Malaprabha. Hampi is on the Tungabhadra. Now in this way, rivers are important. Okay. Now in this context, you have to know certain things about the Mahadayi river and Malaprabha river from the examination perspective. Okay. Before moving to that, just remember that National Board for Wildlife is a statutory body established under the Wildlife Protection Act. Now this is headed by this chairman is Prime Minister. Okay. Now from the examination perspective, remember that Malaprabha is a tributary of Krishna River. Okay, you understand that, right? This Khalsa Banduri project is about constructing certain dams and reservoirs to divert the water from Mahadayi River to Malaprabha River. Now this is what the project is about. You have to know certain things about Mahadayi and Malaprabha River. Now Mahadayi River is also called as Mandovi River in Goa. Okay, both are same. Now this Mahadayi is just one of the two important rivers. That is, another one is Jawahar River. Now this is Mahadayi River. Now these are the most important rivers. You can say lifelines of Goa. Okay. In terms of Goa, you have to remember these two major rivers. Now next, this Mahadayi River rises in the Western Ghat, especially in the Bhimgad Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay. Now Bhimgad Wildlife Sanctuary is in Karnataka. This Mahadayi River originates in this Bhimgad Wildlife Sanctuary. Now very important thing, remember, because UPS has a habit of asking whether a particular river is west flowing or east flowing. Okay. This Mahadayi River is a west flowing river. Remember that. And to substantiate that, there is a point here. See, this Mahadayi or Mandori River joins the Jawahar River at the common creek known as Cabo Agoda, forming the Mormugao Harbor. You may be asked that Mormugao Harbor is on the banks of which river? You can say like this, okay? This Mandavi and Jawahari forms a creek. There is a Mormugao Harbor, okay? Next, another important thing, UPSC has a habit of asking which are the following cities on the banks of a particular river, okay? In such cases, you have to remember that Panaji, capital city of Goa, is on this Mandovi or Mahadayi River, okay? Mandovi River, it is on the, okay? Now, these are the things that are important, especially from the prelims perspective. Now, another important thing you have to know is about Malaprabha River, which is mentioned in this news article also. Now, Malaprabha is a tributary of Krishna River. Now, you have to remember this because previously UPSC asked that which are the following are tributaries of Brahmaputra, right? Okay. Now, this Malaprabha River rises in the Sahyadri ranges, which is part of broadly Western Ghats, right? Okay. Now, it is very important. Just now we have seen that there is Pandarpur and Chandrabhaga like that. They are asking famous places or pilgrim places, and we have to match the location of that particular town and river. Now, very important places. These are also the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Okay. UNESCO Heritage Sites. What are these? Aihole, Pattadakkal, Badami. All these are the three important places or three pilgrimage places that are on the banks of the Malaprabha River. Now I have a keyword that is AM, PM, and BM. You can remember like this. Previously, it was asked in the UPSC prelims also, right? Now another important thing about this river is it does not flow into Arabian Bay of Bengal. Then where it flows? It joins the Krishna River. Now UPSC has a habit of previously it was asked that Teesta River directly flows into the Bay of Bengal, which is a wrong statement, right? Teesta River joins the Brahmaputra River. Brahmaputra River in turn flows into the Bay of Bengal. Now that is what the context. Now in this context also you have to remember that Malaprabha River joins the Krishna River. Okay. as Malaprabha is a tributary of Krishna. Okay, this is what you have to remember from the prelims perspective. Now coming to the next article. So this article is saying that right to work is deleted. Now what is the context of the news? Now recently it has been said that around 10 crore people's job cards or names of the people who are enrolled in the MGNREGA has been deleted in the last 4 years. Okay, that is what mentioned in this one. By this, it is violating the right to work, which is given under the as a legal entitlement under the MGNREGA Act of 2005. Now, this is the context of the news. Now, why it is violated? What are the issues in this deletion process? Now, we will see this from both prelims and mains perspective, especially if we see why this question is relevant. Because MGNREGA is a very important from the perspective of creation of employment and elevation of poverty as a government scheme in India. Okay. And from the prelims perspective, you see, previously it was asked that about the MGNREGA. It said that among the following, who are eligible to benefit from the MGNREGA, whether it is adult members of only scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, adult members of below poverty line people, adult members of households of all backward communities, and adult members of any household. Here the answer is D, particularly, and it is also important from the mains examination because in mains there is a syllabus point called government schemes, government policies, and interventions for the benefit of vulnerable sections and poor people, right? And poverty as a syllabus topic is very important, both from GS paper 1 and GS paper 2. There, the analysis of this is very important. And there is a syllabus topic in GS paper 2 also. What are the issues in the policy design and implementation? Now, all these things of what we are discussing in this article can be used in the examination, especially in the mains examination also. Okay. Now we'll see the what is mentioned in this article. As it is said, around 10 crore engineering names have been removed. Now it is violation of right to work. This is what is saying. Now in reply to this, government said that, especially the official said that, see, this is regularly part of exercise of updation and deletion. Okay, to improve the accuracy and transparency. Now this is what the argument of government. But there is some issues in this deletion also. That is what highlighted by this article. Okay. Now it is saying that the major reason that is given in this article for deletion of a particular name is not willing to work. But in a sample survey conducted by a particular organization, it said that the people whose name is deleted are saying that they are willing to work, they are in need of employment. No, there is a contradiction in this. Now, another thing is not carried through Gram Sabha. Now, as per the MGNREGA Act, if you want to remove particular person name, it is a Gram Sabha that has to tell such a particular program officer to remove the particular name. Now, another important thing is that now majority of the people don't know that their name is removed. Now, as per the act, if a person name is removed, that person has to give a chance to reply, to give an answer or reason. His argument also has to be listened. That is what the due process. Okay. Now, another important condition that is given under the MGNREGA Act is that if you want to remove the names of the people from the MGNREGA Act or remove the job cuts, if a village becomes urban area, no entire job cuts given in that village area can be removed. But in this order, it is mentioned that only few people in the villages in which a village converted to the urban areas, their job cuts were deleted, not entire village members. Now this seems suspicious again. And there is lack of analysis of deletion reasons. This is what the issues in the deletions given by this article. Okay. Another important reason this news article is saying that why this particular thing has happened. Now it is being said that the field level officials has given a target of linking the Aadhaar and job cuts. Why? To ensure the Aadhaar-based payment system, ABPS, to prevent the leakages and all. Actually, it's a good idea. But the problem is that they have given the target of achieving. So to get the good percentage of achievement, they said, no, how to get this achievement? You know that Aadhaar linkages plus total number of job cards. Now what this article is saying is they are reducing this denominator to increase the total percentage of linkages to the Aadhaar card. Now this is what the article is saying. Okay. Now there are certain conditions for deletion that are given in the MGNREGA Act 2005 itself. Now it is said that when a household completely permanently migrates from the village, their job card can be deleted. Now another important condition, if the job card is found to be duplicate, it can be deleted. Now if the job card is obtained based on the forged documents, it can be deleted. These are the conditions given in the Act itself. Now if the Gram Panchayat is reclassified as a municipal corporation, all the job cards given in that Panchayat area can be deleted. This is one of the conditions given. Now you have to remember these conditions because this can be a chance of prelims questions. Okay. Hence, it is mentioned that in this a due process is required as per this act. Now, another important thing mentioned in this act is all the deletions must be documented and the reasons for for the deletion has to be documented and reported to the Gram Sabha, and it has to be updated in the MIS, Management Information System, which is a digital architecture of MGNREGA. Now, this indicates a process of due process and transparency. Okay. Now, this is what the thing. Now, these are the things you have to remember as per this article. Now, from the examination perspective, we will see certain important things from the mains examination and prelims examination regarding MGNREGA. Now, first of all, why MGNREGA is first of all initiated? Now, we know that majority of the people in India are employed in agriculture. Now, hence it is saturated. That means there are more number of people, but there is less number of work. Hence, this leads to sometimes distress migration. Okay. Now, to avoid all these problems like this, we enacted MGNREGA to provide rural employment, especially to the adults. Now, the provisions of this article is a person who is registering under this act to get a job card, they has to be 18 years of age at least. Now, it is only linked to the rural households, not urban households. Okay. Now, again, unskilled. Now, remember from the prelims perspective, they twist the words UPSC that skilled or unskilled. Okay, it is unskilled work, willing to do unskilled work. Now, this act guarantees the 100 days of unskilled employment per household. Okay, remember that it is not 100 days for one person, 100 days for one household. Next, if at all, if you are failed to get employment under this MGNREGA, you will get unemployment allowance. This is very important. Now, there is a criticism that this unemployment allowance is not given. Now, it is either you will get 1/4 of the minimum wage for the first 30 days and half for the next remaining days. This is what the unemployment allowance. Now, there is a mandatory provision of social audit about the projects, what the construction happened under the MGNREGA, what is the work that has done, how much amount it is spent, how it is spent, things like that. Now, near residence. Now, as per this act, a person has to get MGNREGA work near, that is within 5-kilometer radius. If it is beyond that, you will get travel allowances as per this act. Again, this is also criticized but not implementing. Decentralized planning, what is meant by this? Now, as per this act, it is the Gram Panchayats given the responsibility, that is the Gram Sabha, that decide which works to be done by the people, right? Now, again, as per this act, payments are to be made on the weekly basis. If there is any delay in payment, again, there is a compensation as per this act. Again, this is criticized because compensation is not given for delayed payments. Now, you can use this in challenges as well. Now, remember one thing from the prelims perspective, it is the Minister of Rural Development, not Ministry of Panchayats, okay? That is regulating this MGNREGA, okay? Many people confuse that MGNREGA means Minister of Panchayat. No, it is Minister of Rural Development. Next, what are the challenges? That is corruption. There is a lot of corruption involved in the MGNREGA that is unearthed in the areas of Rajasthan and Bihar. You know that you may see in the news. Now, where the level of corruption involved, the corruption is involved in the ghost beneficiaries. Now, it is being said that the local level, there are intermediaries are emerging in which they are registering the people from the wealthy families. Okay. And people who are died using their names as a registration to get the money, in which they are saying that you just register your name. Let's say if they are getting 300, intermediaries may get 150, you will get 150, something like that. There is a lot of corruption. Okay. And not only that, devaluation of funds itself. It is being said that if they are done at least 4 weeks of work, they are not getting 4 weeks. Sometimes they are getting most of the time 3 weeks. That 1 week is taking away, and people are not aware that what is happening. Okay, this is corruption. Then no timely wages. Now it is being said that wages are not timely given. Now, not adequately given. For example, if they are done 4 weeks of work, they are given 3 weeks. Ghost workers, just now we mentioned, not giving 100 days out. Now it is being said that they are getting per household around 60 to 70 days only, not 100 days. This is one of the complaints. There is a lack of flexibility. What is meant by that? Lack of flexibility. For example, women are involved in household work. Now, to enter into the MGNREGA in the morning, they have to complete the household work first. But there is a strict condition that you have to come by this time and go by this time. Hence, this is, disrupting the regular way of life. Now, there is a chance that they may have another work during the MGNREGA work in a day. Now, this is conflict in this. So, there is a need of flexibility of timing. Next, the need for mobile. Recently, it is being said that to increase the transparency in the process, they are saying that any one member in the group of MGNREGA workers need mobile for geotagging the work, taking the photo and all these things stuff. Not giving compensation, just now we said. And no social audit. As it is mandatory under the MGNREGA scheme, there is no social audit. Now, especially it is being said that less than 20% of the Gram Panchayats are doing actual social audit. Now, no infrastructure for women. Why? Because women are majorly beneficiaries. Nearly half of the people involved in the MGNREGA work are women. But there are proper, basic infrastructure such as sanitation, hygiene, things like that, toilets. So, and they are vulnerable. Now, these are what the challenges and provision. You can use these points on both prelims and mains perspective. Okay. Now, coming to the next article. Now, this article is saying that Indian Army receives logistics drones for use in eastern sector. Okay. Now, especially this article is remember important from the mains perspective, sorry, prelims perspective, not much to discuss. Now, why this article is relevant? Because UPSC has a habit of asking any equipments or weapons that are there in the news. Now, if you see this previous year question, it is said that what is thermal high altitude area defense, sometimes seen in the news. What is this? It is an American anti-missile system. Now, it is here option C. Likewise, there is a chance that sometimes UPSC may ask about this also. Now, what is mentioned in this news? It is mentioned that Sambal 20. If at all asked, this is nothing but drones. Now, another term used for this is unmanned helicopters. Now, both are same. Both drones or unmanned helicopters. Okay, both are comes under the Sambal 20. Now, what is it? It is for the main purpose of this is to use for vertical takeoff and landing technology, especially in the rugged terrains. In rugged terrains, it cannot move horizontal, right? For that, there is need of vertical takeoff. Now, its capacity is 20 kg for long distance. Okay, this is what the purpose. Now, another important thing mentioned in this article is Analaksha. What is this? Analaksha is something also related, an equipment related to the defense sector, developed by the IIT Kanpur. Remember this? It is developed by the IIT Kanpur. Majorly, it is something around constraining and countering the synthetic aperture radars. Yes, yeah, countering the radars. Okay, this is actually important for the defense. Countering the radars. Okay, these are the two things you have to remember: Sambal 20 and Analaksha. That's all from the films from this article. Okay, now we are moving to the next article. Now, this article is saying that amid protests by the opposition, both the houses are adjourned. Now, we don't go into this political controversy because here the opposition party protested on the issues of Adani allegations, Manipur conflict, and UP violence. Now, we don't go into these political things, but what is important is from the examination perspective is adjournment. Okay, remember, very important because previously it was asked in the prelims also. If you see this question, it was asked in prelims 2020 paper. It is said the President of India can summon a session of the Parliament at such place as he or she thinks fit. Okay? Yes, this statement is true. Next question. The Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions of the Parliament in a year. Now, this is a wrong statement. Constitution does not provide any type of 3 sessions like that. It's just a established convention that we have 3 sessions that are budget session, winter session, monsoon session. These are the 3 sessions that are conventionally following. Okay? But it is not, this is a wrong statement. Okay? Next, there is no minimum number of days that the Parliament is required to meet in a year. Yes, this statement is true. Now, you can easily say that this statement is true because recently in newspaper it is being criticized that number of days of working Parliament is reduced because in first Parliament it is 135 days. Now, in 17th Lok Sabha, now it is reduced to 55 days. Now, this is one of the criticism in working of the Parliament in India recently. Now, in this way, hence, we can say that there is no minimum number of days for the Parliament to work. Now, 1 and 3 are correct statements. Okay. Now, in this context, you have to know certain things. Clearly, it's mentioned, but recently, winter session of the Parliament was started. Now, in this context, you have to know certain things of the sessions. Okay, who will summon, who has the power to summon, things like that. We will see from the plain's perspective. So, first of all, remember the difference between adjournment, prorogation, and dissolution, which are important to understand this thing. See, adjournment is terminating a sitting. Now, sitting means what is meant by sitting? Sitting means the things are happening in a day. Okay, in a day there can be like 2 sittings, morning and afternoon sittings, things like that. Prorogation means termination a session. We know 3 sessions are there. Okay, winter session, monsoon session, budget session. So prorogation means terminating this entire session. It can be 2-3 months. Generally, sessions are happening for 2 or 3 months, right? Prorogation means completely terminating the entire sessions. Adjournment means within the every session there are sittings daily happen. Now, cancelling this daily sitting is what? Adjournment. Dissolution means terminates the entire life of the house. House involves all these sessions, right? Entire life will be cancelled. Now, these are the difference. Now, how the power is given? It is the Constitution under the Article 85, in which President has given the power to summon each house of the Parliament at such time and place as he deems fit, appropriate. Okay. Another important thing mentioned in this, there is no more than 6 months should be intervened with the last sitting of one session and first sitting of next session. Now, it is being said that this winter session, monsoon session, and budget session. So the gap between these 2 sessions should not be 6 months. Hence, you can say that previously it was that there is no minimum number of days of working given in the Constitution, which is true. So it is said that it should not be the gap should not be more than 6 months. So that is what mentioned in this article. Now it has been said that under Article 85 Class 2, it empowers the President to prorogue the House. Remember, this prorogue is an important word because see, This adjournment is a power that is in the hands of the presiding officer. Okay, it can be speaker or chairman. Okay, but this prorogation and dissolution is in the hands of the president. Remember, this is very important from the prelims perspective. Okay, certain other things you have to know. Just now I said there are three sessions. That is budget session, that is around February to May, monsoon session July to September, and winter session November to December. Okay, now it has been said that again, adjournment suspend the work in a sitting for a specified time. Okay, adjournment only terminates the sitting and not a session of the house. Remember this point is very important. The power of adjournment, just now I said it is with the presiding officer. Okay, now there is a difference between adjournment and adjournment sine die. What is that? See, adjournment sine die means terminating sitting of the parliament for an indefinite period. Power of adjournment sine die lies with presiding officer. See, if adjournment is there, adjournment can be a day, hours, or weeks. They will specify the time when we will meet this adjournment. But adjournment sine die means they will not specify any time when we will meet again. The speaker won't say that. Okay, but the thing is that whether the speaker time mentioned time or not doesn't matter. President can call at any time. Okay, he can summon them. Next important thing, when it comes to dissolution, dissolution is only about Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha does not face any dissolution because it's a permanent house. It's very important to remember. Now, what are the situations that are supposed to be used for dissolution? See, when the expiry of tenure of happened for the Lok Sabha, that's 5 years, the house is automatically dissolved. This is, remember this point, very important. Next, even before the completion of the 5 years, if Council of Ministers recommend to the President, President with the order can dissolve the Lok Sabha. This is one important thing. Now, another important thing is that President can dissolve the Lok Sabha if Council of Ministers lose the confidence in the House and there is no party to form the stable government. This is very important. Okay. When there is any dissolution happen, all the business, including bills, motions, resolutions, notice, petition, everything pending its committees lapses. Okay. Now these are the things you have to remember from the prelims perspective. Now coming to the next article. Now what this news article saying? Now it is being said that nearly 2 lakh child marriages were prevented in a year. Minister said. Now what's happened recently? Parliament, there is a question raised, and in a reply to that, Minister said that in the last 1 year, around 2 lakh child marriages were prevented. Now, as in response to this, as a part of this response, it is also said that in India, child marriages are half. That means reduced to half. That is, earlier it is around 47% of marriages, child marriages. Now it is reduced to around 23%. Now these are the reported. Now it has been said that there are many unreported marriages that are form part of child marriages also, which are not reported. Now, hence, even though it is reduced from 47 to 23%, the question is that 23% is still very high. Now, this is what the saying. But still, on a positive note, it is being said that even United Nations also said that in South Asia, the child marriages are significantly reduced. Among the South Asia, it is the India that is the major contributor in reduction of the child marriages. Now, this is what the saying. In India, one of the reasons for reduction is that it is being said that Bala Vivah Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, a child marriage campaign. Now, not only this, there are for many reasons. For example, increase in education, increasing literacy rate, increasing employment opportunities for the women, okay, awareness among the parents, and facilities for the women, things like that. There are a lot of things are happening that leads to the reduction in child marriage. Not only that, even from the government also, we are taking some important schemes like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana. It's like government also providing a lot of schemes for awareness. Okay, selfie with a girl child, things like that. There are a lot of happening. Now, this is at the context of the news. Now, in this context, the minister also mentioned that it's very important to raise the awareness because legislation cannot suffice the avoidance of child marriage. Why it's happened? Because you know that in India, legislations cannot completely do the work, because you know that Dowry Prohibition Act happened in 1960s, but still you know that in India clearly it has been visible that dowry is taken. Now, hence, it is not the law that is followed by the people. The culture is also very important. Now, hence, it is important to touch the hearts of the people through awareness about the child marriages along with the law. Okay, this is the context. Now, where it is important, it is very important from the Indian Society paper of JS paper 1 in the examination. It was previously asked that about child marriages, sex ratio, especially regarding the issues of women. Now, issues faced by the women is a syllabus topic in JS paper 1 itself, right? Now, previously, you can see, why do some of the most prosperous regions of India have adverse sex ratio for women? Give your arguments. So things like that can be asked in the future also. Now, not only this, recently there is a debate happened on bill presented in the parliament about reduction of marriage age or increasing the marriage age of women from 18 to 21. Now, this bill not yet passed. Okay, remember this. Now, from the examination perspective, we will see both analysis from prelims and mains perspective. From prelims perspective, you have to know one act, Child Marriage Prohibition Act of 2006. It is given in this article, which is very important. That is controlling the child marriage in India. Now, as per this act, for women it is 18 years. For men it is the 21 years minimum age. Now, certain provisions in this article, and especially as per this act, is very important to remember because previously UPSC asked about the acts, especially and legislation, right? This Child Marriage Prohibition Act 2006 replaced the Child Marriage Restraint Act of 1929. Remember, UPSC asked statements like this, that which act replaced this act, something like that. Okay. Next, instance of child marriage can be reported before or after marriage. Okay, if the marriage is already solemnized, you cannot resist yourself. You can also report the marriage to the police. Okay. Now, very important fact is that it is the district collector who is a nodal officer to implement this act at the district level. This is very important fact. Next, there are child marriage prohibition officers also need to be appointed as per this act. Okay. Now, offences under this act are cognizable and non-bailable. Non-bailable, you know what is meant by cognizable. Cognizable means that is of serious crime in nature. What did happen? That means you can be arrested without warrant. Your house can be searched, or investigation can be started without court orders. Some things like that. Okay, that is cognizable. Now, giving the legal status to all the children born from the child marriage. Yes, it is true. This is as per the provisions of this article, this act. Okay, it is being that the even children born to the minor girls, they are also legalized. But the thing is that in the meanwhile, they will get some compensation, maintenance, things like that. Okay. Now, these are the provisions you have to remember from the prelims perspective. From the mains perspective, you have to know what are the reasons for the child marriages. Firstly, now, what are the challenges or the arguments against the increasing the marriage of the girl child? Okay, it is being said that increasing the marriage of age to 18 to 21, right? Now, what is the challenges in this? We will see from the mains perspective. The first and foremost reason is about traditional values. Now, some of the cultures it is been said that a girl has to marry before puberty, things like that. Okay, these are all the traditional values. And next, burden. Now, woman is seen as a pariah or a property of others. So they think that this is a social and economic burden, right? Because woman child has lot of cultural ceremonies. In all these ceremonies, they need to be bought lot of jewelries or many things like that. Okay, so it's seen that these ceremonies are mostly burden, economically burden for women, for the families. No, it's an issue of poverty also, because they cannot maintain or sustain decent life standards for the women. This is also one of the issues. They want to give up their burden, things like that. Now, next is social stigma. If a woman is not married for many years, it is said that it is social stigma. Happening marriage early years is also one type of pride, social status. No, at certain village levels also, still dowry. Now, it is traditionally said there is apprehension that if woman is not getting married at early years, with aging, they have to give more dowry to get proper groom. Okay, things like that there are there. And the important thing is lack of awareness about importance of girls, that opportunities that are there for the women. Now, another is safety issues. Now, it is being that there is a lot of violence against women is happening. Now, in this context, if anything happen, especially sexual abuse happen, it is a issue of social prestige for family, right? It is not about whether that sexual violence is right or wrong. It is about social prestige, because it has always been said that the social prestige is attached to the sexual purity of women. Now, this is also criticized as a sexual double standards. Now, all these are the reasons for the child marriages and lack of education and all these things stuff. Okay. Now, what can be the challenges of increasing this age? There is no proper scientific basis of increasing marriage, because it is being said that recently certain arguments are saying that children are getting matured at the age of 16 years itself. Okay. And another important thing is decreasing fertility. Now, it is being said that within the next 10 years, that is within the decade, India, we will lose this demographic dividend. Now, within this time, we need to ensure that their population is balanced. Now, already the fertility rate is decreasing, population is decreasing. Now, increasing the marriages will be affect this population also, demographic stability. Now, this is one of the argument. Now, another important thing is difficult to criminalize the family. Why? Because if someone is convicted under this Child Marriage Act, it is very less chances they are reported, because everyone is from part of the family. They are very close relatives, and marriage involves a lot of bonds, emotions, okay, identities, prestige, pride, social honor. So it is very unlikely that they will report these cases. Now, marriages are just around 18. What does it mean? If there is a limit on the marriage of 18 years, now it is being said that they're marrying just around after 18 years, once they got 18 years. Now, what's the use of it? Now, things like that. For example, now presently, you cannot marry under the 18 years. Now, it is being said that around many people are marrying just when they got 18 years itself, just after 18, 19 years, things like that. Now, this is one of the criticism. Now, another increasing case of adultery. Now, already in the present situation, there's a lot of divorces happening, cases of infidelity, cheating, cases of adultery. Okay, all these are happening. Now, it is being said that in sociological analysis, it is being said that increasing cases of adultery can be seen if there is an increasing age of marriage for women. Now, this is one of the argument. This can be many arguments like that. Okay. Now, these are the things or analysis from the mains perspective. Okay. Now, I hope you like this video. That's all for today. Thank you.